Okay, so let's talk about a question that pretty much every organization on the planet asks itself. How do we get better? I mean, how do we even know what better is supposed to look like? It's this huge, universal challenge. But you know what? The answer often starts with a really simple but powerful tool we're going to dig into today: benchmarking.
I mean, really, think about it for a second. When you're trying to fix a problem or make a process more efficient, how often are you just starting from a blank slate? It's such a common trap. The sources we're looking at today frame it perfectly. Benchmarking is all about not doing that. It's about learning from what other people already do right. It's basically just common sense, but with a system.
So what exactly is benchmarking? Well, it's not just a casual glance at what the competition is up to. It's a formal, systematic search. It's this incredibly powerful quality management tool that gives you a structured way to measure how you're doing against the best in class and then adapt their secrets for your own success.
This visual here, it just nails the whole concept. On one side, you're asking, okay, what's our performance level? And on the other, you're asking, what are others' performance levels? But the real magic, the secret sauce, happens right in the middle with what it calls creative adaptation. It's not about just copying what someone else does. It's about learning from them and then adapting it to get to that breakthrough performance.
All right, so we get the what, but what about the how? How is this actually done? Because it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. There are a few different ways you can go about it, and each one has its own unique focus. Let's break them down.
Our sources lay out three main categories. First, you've got internal benchmarking, which is where you look inside your own company. Then there's competitive, where you're looking at your direct rivals. And finally, functional or generic, which is where you might look at amazing processes in totally different industries. Each one serves a really specific purpose.
Now, while it's super tempting to just focus on what your biggest competitors are doing, the most logical and often the most accessible first step on this whole journey, well, it doesn't require looking outside at all. In fact, it's probably right under your own roof.
And that, right there, brings us to the core of what we're talking about today: internal benchmarking. This is where so many of the world's most successful companies, giants like Xerox and Motorola, this is where they began their whole journey into continuous improvement. So here's the absolute key. Internal benchmarking is all about making comparisons within the same company. You might be comparing the sales process of your team in North America to your team in Europe. Or maybe you're looking at the logistics for one product line versus another. The expertise you're searching for is already in-house.
I really love this analogy. Think of internal benchmarking as looking in a mirror. You're analyzing yourself to find your own strengths, your own best practices. External benchmarking, that's like looking out the window to see what your neighbors are up to. Now, both are valuable, for sure, but looking in the mirror is that crucial first step to really knowing yourself.
And the sources really highlight why this is such a popular place to start. It's just the simplest and most straightforward way to do it. Why? Well, because you're not trying to get secrets from a competitor who's trying to beat you. You're dealing with your own colleagues. It's kind of the perfect training ground to build up your benchmarking skills.
Of course, let's be realistic. No single tool is perfect for every single job. And while internal benchmarking is a fantastic starting point, it's really important to have a clear-eyed view of both its strengths and its weaknesses. The advantages are pretty compelling, right? The data is easy to get your hands on, you don't have to worry about confidentiality, and it's cheaper and faster. But there's a flip side. You can risk getting a little too inward-looking. The truly game-changing innovative ideas, they're often found outside your own walls. And you might not realize that the best-in-class performance out in the real world is a constantly moving target. Honestly, these limitations are actually just signposts, telling you when it's time to graduate from looking in the mirror to looking out the window.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Internal benchmarking isn't the final destination, but it is, without a doubt, one of the most effective and efficient first steps you can take on that long path towards continuous improvement.
And it really can be that simple. Before you pour a ton of time and money into figuring out how your biggest competitor does what they do so well, it's probably worth asking if another team in your own building has already cracked part of the code for you.
And that's the question I want to leave you with. Every single organization has these little pockets of excellence, these hidden best practices, and unsung heroes who've just figured out a better way to do things. That first step to a real breakthrough, it could be as simple as starting a conversation. What excellence is just waiting to be discovered right where you are?